I don't know, my name is Allie. I'm a doctor of physical therapy as well as a nationally certified Pilates instructor. I founded the Pilates RX here in Boston, which is where I practice full time. But I do teach with the Community Online Academy all day on Thursdays. So I'm excited to have you guys join me here tonight for the traditional back pain class. So this is a 30-minute program. It is almost entirely movement-based. We're going to be doing some stretching, some strengthening. Today, we have a lot of mobility work in our program, all aimed at targeting lower back pain. So while we work through this program, just know that everyone's backs are a little bit different. Everybody's dealing with something different, even from day to day. Please listen to your body, take the option and modification that feels best for your body today. And that way you leave this class feeling a little bit better than you came into it. So, and just a reminder, we do questions at the end. So if something comes up, save it. I will do my best to answer as many as I can. So let's get started lying down on your back. In a comfortable position, you can choose to have your knees bent, feet flat, or legs all the way extended, and just resting in a comfortable setup down on the mat. Allow your head to hang back, your feet to rest heavy, and just take this moment here to do a quick scan of your body from the very tippity top of your head all the way down to your toes. And as you're scanning your body here, you're just noticing any spots of tension, any differences from side to side, knowing that there's not a right or wrong way for your body to feel in this moment. You're just here to notice it. And as you get in touch with how your body is feeling, see if you can start to imagine and visualize your breath. Your breath is one of the most important and effective tools we have to decrease muscle tightness and tension in the lower back. So I want you to focus here on first your head and your feet, and then your breath. And so I know that sounds funny thinking about your head and your feet, but I want you to take these deep, big belly breaths. But when you do so, I want that to not change what you feel in your feet and your head. If your breath is so big that it's starting to move your spine and therefore move your feet and move your head, that means that we're not really targeting the deeper muscles of breathing that lie around our spine. So the rest of your body is still. You start to fill your belly and rib cage up with air, and then exhale, release, and let it go. Try taking that inhale breath in through the nose and an exhale breath out through the mouth. Try 2 more breaths here. Inhale in through the nose. Exhale, release some of that stale air out from the bottom of your lungs. Try once more here. Big inhale in and an exhale, breath out. We're going to try and take that now into a little bit of movement. So if you imagine that natural space underneath your low back, start to rock your tailbone front to back, gently closing the space behind your low back and opening. Exhale to close and inhale to open. Good. Very gently rocking front to back. And I want you to work within your body's comfortable range of motion. So this might start off fairly stiff, and that's okay. Just be gentle here. All we're trying to do is bring a little bit of blood flow to the lower back. Good. 4 more just like this. And 3. Last 2. And we'll settle somewhere right into the middle on this last time. Go ahead and walk your feet together, walk your knees together, rest your arms down by your side, and very gently start to rock your legs from side to side. Keep the inner thighs hugging together. Keep your feet together as though you almost have one leg moving at the same time. Now, as you rock from side to side, you're only letting your legs go as far as they can without any discomfort in your back. And that means pinching, pulling, pain. Again, this is just to bring some blood flow to the area. So we'll do some deeper stretching and mobility work later. Right now, we just want to warm up the spine. So we're going to be gentle with our body and rock the legs from side to side here. Good. That's it. Allow the shoulders and head to rest back. We'll try 3 more. And 2. And 1 more time here. And then we'll settle somewhere right into the middle. Now, one of the most common complaints I get relative to back pain is that the hip flexors are really tight or it feels pinching in the front of the hips when you do core work. We're going to try and address that today. So what we'll use is what's called active release. We're going to activate some muscles to help release others instead of just passively stretching. So we're going to take the left leg, hug your hands behind the back of your thigh. Now, I know you guys can't see this, but what I'm going to do is push my leg away as though I'm pushing into my hands. And I'm pushing pretty darn hard right here. We're going to hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then pull the knee in towards the chest. Let it relax. We try that again. Push against your own hand. This should feel like a lot of pressure into your hand, pushing away from your body. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, and gently pull the knee in towards the chest. 2 more times like that. Hopefully, each time that you do this little push, you feel that your knee can come in a little bit closer and maybe a little bit smoother. And you may even hear some popping in your hips. So it's not a bad thing. That may actually be your femur bone kind of moving back into its regular position in the socket. Good, and we'll pull that in. Very nice. We're going to try the same thing on the right side here. So hug behind your right knee. Energize that right leg, push your right leg away from you. And it's not pushing your knee away. I'm actually taking my thigh bone and pushing it away. So almost like you are pushing your leg up against a really heavy piece of furniture. Good, gently draw that back in. Hold that right leg up, push, push, push it out and away, reach. Good, draw it back in. We'll try twice more on this side. Keep pushing the leg out, push it out. Stretch it long, reach, good, draw it back in. And one more time here, press out again, press and reach away, good. And then gently draw it back in and place both feet down. Good, so now we're gonna take that into a little bit of abdominal work with our single leg stretch. So head stays down on the floor. Imagine like you have a little marble resting right on your navel. I want you to keep that marble there. Hug now the top of your right leg and stretch your left leg out long. If you need to modify, reach your left leg up a little bit higher. Challenge, you can reach the left leg down a little bit lower. Now, switch the legs in space. I want you to still have that feeling of pushing your thigh bones out and away when you stretch them long. Pull the leg in and press the thigh bone away as you stretch long. That's it, good guys. Keep the shoulders back, the head lengthened. Push and pull, push and pull. You've got it. 4 more. 3, 2, last time, hug both knees in towards the chest and gently rock from side to side. Very nice. We're going to rinse that out. So we just did a lot of stretching for our hips in the front. Now we're going to stretch them in the back. So a little bit of hip flexor release with some bridging. So your heels should be close enough to be able to tap them with your fingertips. Ground your feet down into the floor, press your arms into the floor, and start to lift your hips into a bridge. Now, you should feel the work in your butt muscles, and if you're not sure, bring your hands to your glutes to check. Close the space between your ribs and your hips as though your rib cage is getting attached with little suspenders towards your hips. From that position, start to lower down, and then gently press up on the lift. Lower down, exhale, push and lift. Inhale, lower down, exhale, press up and lift. Inhale, lower the hips and exhale, press and lift. Lower down and tap. Exhale, lift the hips up. Lower down and tap. And exhale to lift. Good. 4 more. Exhale, lift up. Lower down and tap for 3. Exhale to lift. Lower down for 2. And lift on up 1 more time. Exhale, lift on up. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Drop the hips back down. Hug both knees in towards your chest and take a gentle rock from side to side. Excellent. So we're going to take this up into a seated position for a moment and then flip on over into the all fours position. So if you know you need some padding for your knees or your wrists, go ahead and roll up your mat a couple of extra times so you have that assistance here. We're gonna line up with the hands underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. Push the mat away from you, and we're gonna go right into our cat-cow here. So again, gently exploring your body's full spine range of motion, allowing the head to hang, rounding the spine, and dropping the rib cage down, gently lifting the heart. Head rounds, head hangs, and lower the chest, open up the heart. Good. Work within your body's comfortable range of motion here. We'll try 3 more. That's it. And twice more. Good. Let your breath be comfortable. 1 more time here. Excellent. Now, we're going to take this into an inner thigh stretch, so a little bit of hip mobility in the side to side direction, which again helps to take stress away from our low back. So walk your right leg outside the width of your mat, and you may already feel a little stretch in your inner thighs. If you don't, start to press your hips backwards and gently shift forward. So you're keeping that right knee outside the width of the mat, your left leg stays grounded. And so as you gently shift front to back here, try keeping your back mostly flat. So it's as though you have that imaginary marble now on your lower back as you shift your body front to back, finding that gentle stretch and slow shift forward. Good, gentle stretch back and slow shift forward. 3 more like that. Very nice here, good. Last 2. 1 more time and shift it forward. We'll take the right leg back through the center. We're going to do the same thing out and over to the left. So take your left knee just outside of the mat, push the hands down into the mat, and slowly start to shift back. Now you may feel a big difference from side to side. That's just something to note, maybe something to work on a little bit here, but you should feel that stretch on the inner part of your left thigh right now. Good. And you can always modify bringing your leg in a little bit closer or challenge yourself by pressing the leg out a little bit wider outside of your mat. Good. 3 more times here. That's it. Last 2. Good, guys. Once more here. And then we'll come back through the center. Now we're going to take this into a hip flexor stretch. So we've talked a lot about the hip flexors. We'll take that into a stretch. So walk now your right foot forward and come up to kneeling. If this is not comfortable for your knees, you can mirror our movements in standing, okay? But you may want to hold on to something. Even in kneeling, I would recommend holding on to something if you feel off balance, because I want you to be able to relax into this stretch. So with the right foot forward, we're going to be stretching our left hip flexor. So I want you to lift your spine up tall. Rotate your left hip forward, tighten up core and glutes so your spine is stiff like a board. You may already feel that stretch now. If you don't, gently lunge forward into your right leg so you feel the opening and stretch across the front of your left hip. Keeping your spine tall, drop your shoulders away from your ears, gently gaze forward and breathe down into the front of your hip. Good. Keep lengthening and lifting up through the top of the head. If you'd like to deepen this stretch even a little bit further, drop your right hand down towards the floor, left arm reaches up and over, and very gently start to bend to the right. So I'll show you guys this one from the front in just a moment. But take this nice long side bending stretch here, reach the fingertips down towards the floor. Try 1 more breath. And then we're going to find both hands on the floor and take this opportunity to do a quick calf stretch. So you're going to tuck your left toes under, lift your knee, and notice I am pushing my ankle backwards. So I feel a nice stretch through my calf. If you can't bend forward like this, you can also bring your hands to your knee and push backwards here. So you'll still get that nice same calf stretch through your left ankle by pushing your left heel down towards the floor. Good. So either position here is fine. We'll hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So now walk your left foot in front. You can have pillows under your knee. You can also mirror these movements in standing if you would like to hold on to something here as well. Rotate your right hip forward to square off your hips. Pick your chest up tall. Draw your rib cage in and engage your right glute. You may already feel that stretch on the front of your right thigh. If you don't, you can lunge forward until you do. And so that should be a fairly intense stretch here. Try and keep your chest up tall, shoulders rolling down and back, rotating the right hip forward. And then we'll add in that optional side bending. So you're gonna reach your left hand down towards the floor, right arm up and over as though you're tipping over to the left side. And I told you guys I would show you this one from the front. So what that looks like is very gently reaching the spine up and over to gently bend your spine. Okay, good. And then we'll come right back on through the center. We'll take that calf stretch on the right side. So here, hands either go onto the floor, lift your right knee and push your ankle back behind you, or you can lift on up with your hands resting on your thigh in front of you. Either of those options are fine. Really press your ankle back. Take that nice long stretch here. Good. And then release it out. Lower the leg down. Walk both knees down, and then we're going to lower onto our stomach. So slowly, gently bend your elbows, drop your chest down to the floor, open up your feet a little bit wider than hip distance. So now we're going to take this into a spine extension. So place the hands flat onto the mat, start to push the hands down into the floor to curl and lift the back on up, and then gently melt back down. Now I want you to work within what's comfortable for your body. So for some of us, that might just be our upper back, okay? So maybe you're just lifting here, the upper back, and lowering back down. And if you feel comfortable pressing all the way into the low back, take your shoulders out of your ears, shine your heart forward, make that stretch come from the upper back as well as the low back. And remember that your arms are here to do the work. Your spine is just along for the ride. Push down into your hands, keep them active. Imagine like you're going to leave a handprint on the floor in front of you, and then softly, slowly melt it back down. 3 more times, press into your hands, open up, lift, slowly melt down. 2 more, rolling up, hands push into the floor, and gently melt back down. 1 more time here. And softly, slowly melt it back down. Good. Now we're going to take that into a shell stretch. So bring your toes together, heels apart, push your spine up and back, and gently round your hips backwards. Now, for those of you who cannot round your hips this far, you can also keep your hips high in the air and still practice dropping your chest down. So either of those options are fine here. Maybe allow your forehead to even rest down onto the mat. And as you lie here, try taking your deep breaths in through the back side of your rib cage. Go ahead now and walk both hands over to the right side of the mat, and that will help to stretch and lengthen your left side body. As you hold your hands here, try taking a big, deep, expansive breath into the side of your left rib cage. And we'll try another big breath here, and then go ahead and walk both hands up and over to the left side of the mat, feeling that nice length through your right side body. And as you take your breaths here, trying to fill the right side of your rib cage up with air, big, deep expansion. And then gently come back through the center and press yourself on up to a comfortable seat. So in your comfortable seat, I'll choose to sit cross-legged. You can sit with your legs in a diamond position. You can sit with your feet underneath your hips. You could even put pillows under your hips to give yourself a little bit of a boost. But I want you guys to find a comfortable position where you can sit up really tall. And hopefully your spine feels a little bit looser already. We're now going to explore the sideways movement of our spine. So open up your arms, take up space, and we'll start to dive the spine up and over as though you are moving your rib cage kind of like an accordion. See if you can lift up a little bit taller, a little bit longer through the top of your head. Move within your body's comfortable pace. You can breathe in any pattern here, really, but just make sure you are breathing. Sometimes when we get into these deeper stretches, our body tends to hold onto tension and we hold our breath. And that can actually increase the pressure around our spine that we are trying to work to decrease and manage here. Good. Reaching up and over. That's it. 5 more. Good, guys. Up and over for 4. And gently lower back down. Last 3. Good. We're going to add in a little spine twist here in 2. Now, the next time your left hand pauses, places down, pause, reach your right arm up and over. Reach and stretch your right fingertips a little farther. Lift your rib cage up away from the floor. And now we'll start to rotate to tap the right hand down and gently turn on up. As you're rotating to tap down, your arm is doing the moving, but the rotation actually comes from your rib cage. So imagine your ribs like they are rotating around your spine in a fixed surface. Gently turn, rotate, and twist, and open on up. Exhale to rotate down, push the floor away from you and open. Good. Draw the front ribs in. Almost imagine your rib cage now like it is a towel and you're wringing out that towel as you rotate. 3 more. Open on up. That's it. Last 2. Gently open on up one more time here. Open through the center. Now we dive up and over. Take that right hand to the floor. Reach the left arm up and over. Push the right hand away from you and start to gently rotate to reach down, tap and twist, and open out to the side. Turn your chest down and start to lift up. Now, it's normal here to have a difference from side to side. This is our upper back rotation, our thoracic spine. And because that's more closely related to our shoulder and we have a dominant arm, we do tend to be more flexible on that side. So that's okay. Just notice it here. See if you can work to slowly, deeply expand your range and take big, deep breaths into your rib cage in all directions. 3 more. Open it out. Exhale for 2. Gently twist it open. One more time here. Gently twist it open and drop your arms down. Excellent. Now we're going to take this into a final spine twist with an added hip option. So go ahead and extend your legs out in front of you. If you have really tight hamstrings, I'd like you to bend your knees so that you can sit up tall. Even if your knees are really bent, that's okay. Have them out in a slightly wider than hip distance position. Sit up nice and tall. Once again, open your arms to take up space. We're going to do that same spine twist here. So gently twist, come back through the center, exhale to twist. Okay, so this twisting, our hips are grounded down on the floor beneath us. That is not changing. This is a twist from the upper part of our spine. And our spine can twist the most when it's elongated. If you flex and bend forward, your range is actually going to be quite a bit more limited. So think of almost using the leverage of your arms to lift your spine up even a little bit taller, even a little bit longer. Good. That's it. 4 more. Exhale to twist for 3. Good, guys. Twist for 2. One more time. Come back through center. Gather the soles of your feet together, and then we'll take a gentle butterfly stretch here. So you can press down with your elbows. I'll let you guys decide how far away your feet are. Find something that's comfortable for your body. Your feet resting down, your elbows pressing into the inside part of your knees, and your spine very gently tipped forward. So if you see from the side, I'm not slumping my whole body forward. I'm keeping the spine tall and just gently hinging forward, pressing my knees down lightly to the outside of the thighs. Good. We'll try taking one more big breath in here. And then we'll release to let it go. So let's settle somewhere right back into the middle so we can finish our movement here with some breath work. So feel your hips grounded down into the mat. Any comfortable seat here is fine. lift and grow your spine up tall. We'll take an inhale breath here, reach the fingertips up tall and long. Exhale, breath out and release. Inhale, reach, lift, get long, get tall. Exhale, breath out and let it go. Last time here, big inhale. Exhale, release, let it go. And that concludes the movement-based part of our class. Now, what I hope you take from today's program, today we did a lot of joint mobility work for our hips. And that hip mobility is really important. I know this is a low back class, but a lot of times our lower back gets extra stress, extra work, extra tension from our hips not being super mobile. And that happens because we sit so much, right? Our hips kind of get stuck in that forward bent position. So as we improve the mobility of our hip joint, it allows our back to kind of release and let go. So even without doing a ton of work to the back itself, those hip releases should unload and de-stress your back. And I hope that you guys can feel that here. So I'd like to spend our last bit of class now answering any questions that you have about today's program or about back pain in general. I'll get a bit closer because I think there are a couple things here in the chat already. And Erica, thank you so much for the nice feedback. I will share my screen in just a moment to give you guys the QR code for the feedback app. So if you do have a minute to stick around and leave feedback, I would really appreciate it. But I'd love to hear from you guys, any questions that you have. You're also welcome to unmute yourself if you'd like to ask a question that way. Maria, thank you so much for joining. Trisha, thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoyed class this evening.
Hey, Allie.
Hi.
Miranda. Hey, I wanted to ask, is it the hip flexor muscle that is hurting? Is that the one that's you feel when where the leg connects to the body?
Yes. So the hip flexor, I'm going to show you, it's actually made up of two muscles, but it starts on your spine and it actually goes kind of through your stomach across the front of the hip here. So it's about from here to here, and it helps to lift your leg up. So flex your hip. So yes, that I think is what you're talking about. And so the hip flexor really is an important one when it comes to back pain because it attaches right to our spine. So it is a multi-joint muscle. And so by addressing that hip flexor and the hip mobility, it takes pressure off that part of the back.
Okay, thanks.
Great question. Carolyn, thank you so much. Renee, thank you. Ronnie, thank you. Don, thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone who is celebrating.